Hey guys, welcome back to the Celica project. I know we haven't uploaded in about 1 year, but I promise things have been happening. I just haven't been filming and making videos about it, so hopefully now I can start becoming a little bit more consistent, and I want to get more videos out there for you guys so we can kind of follow along with how the Celica project is going. So if you don't catch up on the forums, basically I ran into a big issue with the 2AR trying to mock it up in the engine. This is the exhaust manifold, and you're not allowed to modify this in California for engine swaps. So I was running into a lot of interference issues on this end, running into the subframe basically and the steering rack, and there was no really way I could get around it without modifying this. So the 2AR project kind of ended up dying, and I had to abandon the project and basically get rid of that engine. I do still have the bell housing here, so this will match a W58 to a 2AR. I do have a custom flywheel made that will basically match up this starter, and this project is definitely still possible. You just have to be able to make your own exhaust manifold. So if you're out of this state and you want to attempt this project, I do have some parts already made, and I'd love to see you complete the project. But for us in California, this basically was a dead end. So after a bit of time, I did a lot of research, and I settled on buying a 1991 LS400, which has a V8, a 4-liter V8, and they're known to be super reliable and pretty torquey and fun. So I bought the donor car, I pulled the engine and all the necessary parts I needed for the swap, and so I do have a 1UZ in my garage right now, ready to be swapped into the Celica. And I'm very excited about it because, one, people have done it before, so not very unique, but at least I know it's very possible. And two, I think the V8 would suit the Celica better. I was really bummed about the 2AR. I think it's a very interesting swap, and I'm very glad I did all the work to kind of pathfind for that. So hopefully someone can pick up that project and complete it, because I think it is a great swap, just not for us in California. Without further ado, let's get into the 1UZ updates. So the great thing about this swap is that we can reuse a lot of the things that we've already done. So the A86 front suspension or front subframe swap that we did, and also the spacers that we put in, are all required for this swap. So we can basically keep all that progress and keep our W58 behind the 1UZ. What I ended up doing is I bought a kit from Thailand that will help adapt the W58 to the 1UZ. I did need to reuse the ring gear from the W58, so I separated the ring gear from the flex plate, and the next step will be to take this ring gear and basically place it onto the flywheel that came part of the kit, and that's kind of on the to-do list. Other things on the to-do list are basically the front suspension needs to be readjusted. I ended up taking it all apart and refreshing it, so it needs to be all aligned all over again, and also the new subframe basically will spaces out the front width more, so I have to adjust that for that as well. For the W58, I noticed that it was leaking from the front a little bit, so we bought some new trans seals and we're going to be doing those. We have a trans cross member that needs to be modified, so basically the trans has to move back one bolt, and that's some modifications. I'll add some plate onto the cross member. And then I'm also working on the fuel line replacement and also the steering column, which I'll show right now. So for the steering column update, this is kind of where I am at. So this is a Toyota Prius steering column, and basically it electronically assists you, especially since we're going to be having a big heavy V8 in the car. This will really help out. And what I ended up doing is I sent a bunch of parts to make this basically tube and this plate, and this kind of extends the steering column in a way that mirrors exactly how it was stock. So basically all this can do is kind of bolt into place, and hopefully we'll have electric power steering. There's a couple little things I need to figure out, like basically how long the end shaft needs to be, and the adapters to made up to the A86 steering rack. But that's on the to-do list and will be coming up hopefully in a couple videos. So we got a lot of things to do, and it's time to get started on them. Alright, it's a new day, but we finished the W58 trans seals. So up next is the cross member. I went ahead and basically just wire brushed it and then painted it with Rusty Pro. And now we have a nice painted piece. But then the issue with this trans mount is that the new W58 needs to be located about 1.5 inches back compared to the W50, just kind of where the mount sits inside of this cross member. So what we need to do is we need to take a piece of metal and kind of see what it might look like right here, but we're basically just going to cut some new plates, which will basically just shift this cross member back by 1 bolt hole. So that's what we're going to be working on next.